Some of that money should go towards beautification. The advertising industry at the turn of the century signed a contract with the public. And that contract essentially said, well, we're going to give you a radio ad, we're going to pump a radio ad to you, we're going to buy some high-quality programming, and you can have that. That's your benefit. And if you choose, you can sit there and listen to our ads. The television industry carried that through. But with the billboard industry, there's no public benefit. Okay? They broke the contract with the community.
An extension.
The signs are there, and they're there, and they're there, and they offer nothing in return. And the tax at least offers us something in return that we can apply to the community. And there's no more appropriate place to put some of this money into beautification of this city. So if this bylaw is approved as it is, then each councillor will have an opportunity to take those little bits of money they get for community beautification programs, clean and beautiful little projects, and you'll be able to do 5 or 6 of them in your ward. And then the money will go to beautify the city rather than simply suck it away into general revenue. And then the companies will be giving something back to the people of Toronto.
Something that is, I believe that if there is any taxes that are going to be collected, that should be funneled somehow to our local communities as well. Otherwise, if that goes to the general revenue, Torontonians overall are not going to see the benefit of what we are getting.
And I think the tax issue, I think notionally all of us agree that taxes need to get paid, and that even the sign industry agrees that they want to contribute to the beautification of the city.
Now, I think that the idea that at some point we have to have some of these signs, and that we should take the revenue stream from that and put it into the beautification through our artistry and through our public realm is a very good idea.
In fact, the more successful we are in making them attractive gathering places, the more private industry wants to get into them so they can profit by the number of people walking through that area, so that there are more of us there. The more attractive we make the space, the more the private sector wants to get in and make money off of an investment by the public sector. An investment we all make together to make beautiful spaces. Our responsibility is to make this a great city to live in. And to make it a great city to live in, we should turn down Councillor Kelly's suggestions for how we change the bylaw. We should similarly recognize that we set taxes in order to pay for the public facilities that make this a great place to live, and we should take the staff recommendation on the tax revenue that they want us to put in so we can continue to invest in a great and beautiful city. Thank you.
I am committed deeply to the funds going, as the Hempson report suggested, into public realm and the arts.
Taking some of the money that are proposed to be levied for the sign bylaw and putting that into arts organizations that will allow them to sort of compensate within the public realm and make positive contributions. And I think it's an excellent example of where sometimes the city leads on items, and in this case the city has taken up the cause from the community which has really gone out, organized around this, built the consensus that is out there, and we have an opportunity to act on that consensus. This is very much, Madam Chair, in the line of a long string of community-led initiatives going back all the way to the stopping of the Spadina Expressway, the maintenance of our streetcar systems in the early 1970s. All of these have been examples where the community has mobilized across various divisions, come together, and over a series of years, in this case, actually come together with a very comprehensive plan that addresses really all of the issues, in my opinion. Allows us to collect the amount of revenue that was needed to both provide enforcement, but to also actually make a positive change. And I think that this is going to be, at the end of the day, one of the motions, one of our acts of this council that is remembered. And Madam Chair, I think we have an obligation to stay the course, be firm on this, and as a council adopt the recommendations and get on to building building the city that we're looking to build. And this is a small but important part of that vision of a city that is clean, beautiful, and invests in the arts. Thank you, Madam Chair.
It's tax that would be dedicated into another industry, creative industry, a non-profit industry, the arts in this city. That is a tremendous booster. I don't know if everybody saw the memo that came from the Pride Committee that showed just how much revenue is brought into this city through a nonprofit organization, that's Pride Toronto. I think it was $184 million for Pride Week.
I want to applaud the arts and culture community, and I want to applaud particularly the youth branch, if you will, of the arts and culture community. They are not all of them artists who have been hugely successful whenever they have applied to the Toronto Arts Council to find monies for artistic expression. They are not big components of the majors whom we fund in a different way, but they have a vested interest in the arts and culture community. They are those young people who have organized themselves around the beauty of this city and all of its facets. And they've done so since back in our last term of office when we were debating the street furniture. And if we really think about it, with the exception of community safety, this is the one thing that has galvanized the youth community and indeed the real activist community writ large of this municipality for the last 6 years. Arts, culture, beauty. Those things that they want to surround them because at a very early stage in their lives, they have decided they're going to invest their lives in the city of Toronto. And so they have a long-term commitment to the visual beauty and the arts and culture. And lo and behold, lucky us, that is directly in line with our economic development policy. From Richard Florida on down, everyone keeps telling us that that is a major component of a city that attracts people, such that creativity begins to go beyond arts and culture. Creativity begins to permeate the minds of people in every business interest when it's there at the arts and cultural level. And so here we are, focused on business, and yet in lockstep with what our youth community is asking us for and has done for the last 6 years.
What's amazing about Kenan is that he continues to give back through programs like Remix, where he mentors young emerging artists in the city to make sure that their voices are heard, not just in Toronto, but around the world. And the grant program that has nurtured these young artists in North Etobicoke and all parts of our city deserve our thanks for making sure that when the world gathers, when the world gathers in South Africa this summer, a Canadian will be on center stage, even if our soccer team isn't. And that's with arts funding. And if Councillor Ford is curious as to what they do in Etobicoke with our grants money, they achieve international acclaim.
Look at the information and make decisions based on the facts and based on what our city objectives are. Clearly, it is supportable of programs that offers to promote business and promote economic thriftness and so on across the city and, in fact, across the world.
They have brought to the attention of this council the fact that our bylaws were not being followed, and they've brought to the attention of this council the issue that when we regulate something which creates tremendous wealth for businesses, should perhaps a little bit of that wealth be put back into the public spaces in this city. And I say good for them. That's a grassroots campaign, and good for them drawing it to our attention. Final point is about the amount of the tax and where it should go. There's an incredible logic in this industry, which is part of the creative industries, and the arts and public space, which are part of the creative industries, coming together. 2010 is a challenging year for us. I'm going to support Councillor Carroll's approach, which makes the statement, but also says the Budget Committee will weigh in. But I think this council needs to send the signal by adopting the report that we understand the connection between allowing advertising on buildings in this city, deciding that it's going to be in certain ways which are appropriate for this city, and having some part of those funds come back into building public spaces.